Kim Kardashian had an awkward day yesterday, so she posted a Snapchat of her, and what's really weird is behind there are two perfectly lined up white lines of powder, which clearly looks like
one of the biggest fashion brands in the world is making headlines for something far beyond shapewear and style. Authorities in the UK uncovered more than $9.3 million worth of illegal white powder.
Kim Kardashian, she had this brand called Skims. So the police stopped a transport truck, right? Carrying Skims clothing, traveling from Netherlands to England with 198 bricks worth over $9 million. 28 pallets. It was wrapped up in these packages. Now the truck was specifically modified with a hidden compartment inside the back door when them things were sealed in.
A truck rolls off a ferry at a port in Essex, England. Border Force officers wave it down for a routine check. Inside, 28 pallets of shapewear. On paper, nothing unusual, but what investigators found hidden inside the rear trailer doors was anything but routine. Nearly $10 million worth of cocaine, wrapped in kilogram packages, engineered into a professionally built concealed compartment. The brand on those pallets? Skims. Kim Kardashian's billion-dollar shapewear empire. Law enforcement confirmed that neither Skims nor its exporters or importers had any connection to what went down. The brand was used, not involved, but here's the thing. When your name ends up attached to a story like this, it does not just disappear because a statement gets released. The internet has a long memory, and Kim Kardashian, more than almost anyone else in the public eye right now, knows exactly how quickly a narrative can take on a life of its own. In September 2025, a 40-year-old Polish truck driver named Jakub Konkel was stopped by UK Border Force officers at Harwich International Port in Essex. He had arrived on a ferry from the Hook of Holland in the Netherlands. The truck he was driving was carrying 28 pallets of legitimate Skims products, underwear and clothing, headed for distribution in the United Kingdom.
One of the biggest fashion brands in the world is making headlines for something far beyond shapewear and style. Authorities in the UK uncovered more than $9.3 million worth of illegal white powder substance hidden inside a truck carrying underwear and clothing from Skims products. And now social media is trying to process how a luxury fashion shipment ended up tied to an international investigation.
Just a beautified drug trafficking. I'm just saying I'm in the wrong industry because I need that kind of money.
The man who was arrested, the driver, he agreed to smuggle this in. That's what he said. And he was paid $5,243. But who built the compartments? Because those compartments, that's what held the white substance.
Okay, you know what? Wait, let me tell you real quick. $9.3 million worth of narcotics for $5,000? What kind of foolery is this?
And the NCA said this was not the truth, that Kim Kardashian was arrested, and the driver told the police he worked for Kardashians for years. Millions shared it.
She was arrested.
But no, she was not arrested.
That was a fake tweet?
It's a fake tweet.
News.
Okay. Yes, fake news. That's what they said. They said it was fake news, and this is not the case, that she was not arrested.
But would we know if she was really arrested?
She wouldn't have been arrested that quick.
But we wouldn't even know.
But millions shared it. So what I'm asking is, look how fast that news traveled so quickly, and people were willing to believe that about her. Why do you think that?
So at the end of the day, this is still good press for them. Can you imagine how many people weren't buying Skims that went over and realized it was 40% off today? Listen, if they put a little bit of cocaine in my shipment, baby, I won't be calling anybody to talk about it. There will be signs. Just know that. There will be signs. There will be signs. Oh my goodness.
Ray J did go on the show with Jason Lee, and he talked about how Kim Kardashian went to court because they were robbing his mom and his sister. And I looked up the court case, and it's true. They were robbing them of hundreds of thousands of dollars. When you're white. The caucasity is just different. Your proximity to power means you can be cleared of things, but when you have proximity to blackness, regardless if you have notoriety, you're already criminalized. So for me, I'm not surprised here. They run a very powerful family dynamic when it comes to the Kardashian. I just do not think that they had no idea about this.
Let me just read this once again. That viral tweet that said Kim Kardashian was arrested and the driver told police he worked for the Kardashians for years, according to the NCA, as I received this information, was completely false. I just want to make sure.
Officers x-rayed the vehicle and found a compartment that had been professionally engineered into the rear trailer doors before Conkle had ever collected the Skims cargo. Inside, 90 kilograms of cocaine, divided into 1 kilogram packages, with a street value of roughly 7.2 million pounds. Here is the detail that investigators zeroed in on. Conkle's tachograph, the device that tracks a commercial driver's route and stops, recorded an undeclared 16-minute stop before he reached the port. That stop, authorities believe, is when the narcotics were loaded into the pre-built compartment. Only Conkle and the criminal group behind the operation knew it was there. He initially denied all knowledge, but later pleaded guilty. At Chelmsford Crown Court, Judge Richard Wilkin told him directly that his role was not peripheral or limited, that it was a significant part of a large-scale commercial operation. The sentence he got was 13 and a half years, and his payment for taking on all that risk, 4,500 euros. To put that into perspective, that is roughly 1 month's rent in most parts of London.
This is crazy. UK authorities found $8.4 million worth of cocaine in a shipment of Kim Kardashian's Skims products. It's being said that the truck arrived on a ferry from the Netherlands carrying 28 pallets of legitimate Skims products. The shipper or the receiver had no knowledge of any of the drugs being present in the shipment. When the truck arrived at the port, authorities used X-ray scanning equipment to detect irregularities in the truck's construction. That's when they found that the rear doors had recently been replaced. Upon further investigation, that's when authorities found 90 packages weighing about 2 pounds each inside of the trailer's rear doors. The Polish truck driver was arrested and has recently been sentenced to almost 14 years in prison for drug smuggling. Skims made a statement to USA Today saying that they had no involvement with drug smuggling operations, they had no knowledge of any drug activity going on at all, and they had no connection to the driver, the truck, or the drugs.
Kim Kardashian had an awkward day yesterday, so she posted a Snapchat of her, and what's really weird is behind there are 2 perfectly lined up white lines of powder, which clearly looks like cocaine. So people noticed very quickly, started going crazy on social media. She got on immediately and she said, I do not play with rumors like this, so I'm gonna shut it down real quick. That's sugar from her candy mess from Dylan's Candy Shop.
She went on Snapchat last night, it was a marble table.
It's a marble table, you guys. Like, come on.
She thought it was sugar, originally thought it was sugar, but she was out on press and came back and was like, oh, it was actually a table.
You don't think the picture was looked at and said, oh, that's cool, we'll put this up and people will talk?
No.
And now everybody else is going to be using the marble table excuse when they when photos come out. Oh, marble table, but it's made out of wood. Marble table.
That did not turn out how we expected it to, but coming back, where does Kim Kardashian actually stand in all of this? Skims released a statement through TMZ that was about as direct as these things get. The brand said it had no knowledge of the criminal activity, no connection to the driver or the operation itself. The National Crime Agency backed this up, confirming that neither Skims nor the exporter or importer were accused of any wrongdoing, and from everything that is publicly available. That holds up, but here's where it gets interesting from a brand perspective. Organized crime groups, according to NCA operations manager Paul Orchard, deliberately target legitimate commercial shipments exactly because of the cover they provide. The more recognizable and reputable the brand, the less suspicion a truckload of it tends to attract at a border checkpoint. In a strange and deeply uncomfortable way, the very success of Skims may have made it an appealing vehicle for this kind of operation. That is not a criticism of the brand. It is just the reality of how these networks operate. They are sophisticated, they do their homework, and they exploit trust, including the trust that a well-known consumer brand quietly builds at international checkpoints over years of routine shipments. What this story really highlights is a vulnerability that affects global supply chains across every industry. But when the name on the pallet belongs to one of the most talked about women on the planet, the story does not stay in the business section for very long.
Skims is going to be part of the U.S. Olympics Kim Kardashian is a genius. She is working with Team USA, and she is now officially, her product line is all the official loungewear for the Olympics right there in Tokyo. And they already have photos of the Olympians wearing them, and they're super cute.
It is an absolutely huge deal for her, and especially because I didn't think they even had official loungewear before.
It's not even loungewear. It's pajamas as well as the undergarments, and it's the loungewear.
This is a little bit embarrassing, right? The world thinks of us as the Kardashian Nation, this really reality show.
And now that will be affirmed at the
Olympics.
Right.
This is America.
But we always say you have to find a way to tap into a new market, and she did. I've never seen this before, like loungewear at the Olympics. Brilliant.
Isn't that the epitome of the American dream, coming up from a very wealthy lawyer father?
Now, separately from this story, there is something else that has been floating around in the background for a while, and given the timing, it would be odd not to address it. In September 2025, Ray J, whose real name is William Ray Norwood, went on a public live stream and made some very large claims. He stated that he was preparing to file a federal RICO complaint against Kim Kardashian and her mother, Kris Jenner. He said, and these are his words, that it was worse than Diddy. He said the feds were coming. He offered no evidence to support any of it. Kim and Kris filed a defamation lawsuit against him in early 2026, and their legal filing was unambiguous. It stated that no such federal investigation exists, that no law enforcement agency had initiated any criminal proceedings related to racketeering charges against either of them, and that no credible evidence whatsoever supported his claims.
Story that we all have known for quite some time resurfaces, and it's like brand new news. Do you remember when Sonia Norwood, the mother of Brandy and Ray J, once sued the Kardashians for allegedly charging $120,000 on their credit card? So I know a lot of you probably remember the Kim K and Ray J connection they once dated, but also Kim K used to work for Brandy. So Sonia Norwood, who I don't play with, accused the Kardashians, including Kourtney, Khloe, Kim, and Rob Kardashian, of charging $120,000 on her American Express card, allegedly unauthorized purchases at multiple stores, including Dash and Smooch, which were owned by the Kardashians. But because of Sonia's kids' personal relationship with the Kardashians, she decided not to file criminal charges. The case was ultimately dismissed and settled back in 2009.
And how about this? Ray J claims that he is working with federal authorities on a case against Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner. He is saying it is about to drop, and I'm not even kidding you, he is saying it is worse than Diddy. Yeah. So I don't know. Will it happen? What is an RICO case? Is that a racketeering?
Rico.
That's racketeering, right?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
I wouldn't put too much weight into that story.
Okay.
Ray J's an interesting fellow.
This is Ray J announcing that he is working with the feds on a RICO case against the Kardashians.
Okay, go for it.
This federal RICO, though, on KK and Kris. Ooh. The federal RICO I'm about to drop on Kris and Kim is about to be crazy. I'm talking about, I'm on the news every day like, yeah. Meaning like I'm gonna say a lot of shit.
Gotta go up. I was you walk with
If anybody know Kim is cool with Kim, they need to tell her now. The rain is coming.
Anybody's friends with Kim need to tell her now.
Hey, right. The feds is coming. It's nothing I can do about it. It's worse than Diddy. It's worse than Diddy.
Y'all hear this nigga, boy?
It's worse than Diddy.
So then Kardashians respond, and Tom, I'm going to come to you. Kris Jenner sues Ray J. Kardashians and Jenner sue Ray J for defamation, cover, inflammatory, feds, RICO accusation. This is a New York Post story. He can't keep up with the Kardashians. Kim Kardashian and her mom, Kris Jenner, are suing Ray J for defamation after the singer claimed he was working with the federal government to build a RICO case against the pair. Unable to accept the end of his fleeting relationship with Kardashian over 20 years ago, Ray J has repeatedly sought to attach himself to plaintiffs' names and exploit their prominence for personal gain. Ray J first claimed the racketeering charges against Kardashian would be appropriate. During the documentary, TMZ presents United States vs. Sean Combs. Tom, what do you know about the story here?
Very little. There was I saw this original video, very, very fuzzy, but it appeared that Ray J was pole vaulting over Kris Jenner. At least it looked like some sort of, yeah. So
you really watched the video?
No, I did
Adam,
not.
so what are your thoughts? What's going on here?
Well,
Tom, you sure you don't want to go deeper on this? That's what she said.
That's what Ray J said.
Oh, wow. So Ray J is what? He's suing the Kim and, Joe.
No, he's not.
He's suing.
Stop
it, Rob.
No,
anyway, let me
no,
give
he's
you
not, Ray J's not suing. Ray J
Okay.
said that there's a RICO case against them while he's drinking,
Gotcha.
apparently,
Okay, so
allegedly.
Here, let me reframe this. The Kardashians are suing Ray J because he's defaming them over some RICO accusation. Let me tell you something, buddy. I'm gonna defend Kim K on this one, and I haven't hung out with them in over a decade. And my buddy Chris married her. I was in the wedding, the whole deal. Ray J has not been relevant in 2 decades. Not 1, not 2, 3. Ray J has not been relevant. And what he's trying to do, and this is according to the accusation, attach himself to the plaintiffs' names, the Kardashians.
When the Skims smuggling story broke, it landed in a media environment that had already been primed by weeks of Ray J's claims. People who had seen those live streams were ready to connect dots that, by all available evidence, do not actually connect. Kim Kardashian has spent the better part of the last 2 years navigating controversy on what feels like a monthly basis, and not all of it is connected to smuggling or legal threats. In early 2024, while advocating for a death row inmate named Ivan Cantu, her team posted the wrong person's photo. A man with the same name, a completely unrelated individual from New York, suddenly found his face attached to a very public campaign about someone facing execution. He sued her for libel and slander. She was slammed online for being careless with someone's identity and reputation while trying to position herself as a serious voice on criminal justice.
Is this man the victim of a broken justice system or a sociopathic murderer? We're talking about 50-year-old Ivan Cantu, and he was convicted all the way back in 2001 for the double murder of his cousin and his cousin's fiance, James Mosqueda and Amy Kitchen, with the couple being found shot dead inside their home in Dallas, Texas the year before. Prosecutors allege that Cantu killed them while trying to steal drugs and cash from Mosqueda, who was a drug dealer, with them pointing to a whole host of evidence and witness testimony that looked really damning at the time. But Cantu has continuously maintained his innocence for the past 24 years, claiming that his cousin was actually killed by a rival drug dealer. And since his conviction, more evidence has emerged casting doubt on his guilt. We're starting with a Rolex that his then-girlfriend Amy testified he stole from Mosqueda, with Cantu's attorney saying the watch was actually found later on by Mosqueda's family. And then, in 2022, Amy's brother admitted that he lied when he testified that Cantu confessed to planning the murders, which is absolutely huge because their testimonies were actually the most impactful on the verdict, according to the jury foreman. Also, back in 2009, testing on bloody clothing could not conclusively show that Cantu's DNA was on them. And actually now, at least 3 of the jurors who sent him to death row have joined calls to stay the execution, with also over 150,000 people signing a petition demanding the same. Those including Kim Kardashian, Martin Sheen, multiple U.S. lawmakers, and the EU's ambassador, all of whom argue that at the very least, Cantu deserves a retrial, if not clemency. And not just because of the new evidence, but also because he claims that his defense failed him in multiple ways, including by not calling a single expert to refute the prosecution's testimony. But also, very notably, some of the evidence that came out post-conviction actually made Cantu look worse, like a lot worse. Right? According to CBS, his attorneys filed a post-trial affidavit saying Cantu privately admitted to the murders before the trial, which is something they say affected their defense strategy, with them also adding that a state-sponsored psychiatric evaluation could have shown that he was a sociopath. But then even without that, the district attorney says that he's convinced that the evidence against Cantu was still solid.
Any number of things, including his fingerprint directly marked on the magazine of the firearm that he used in the murders, the presence of the victim's DNA on the firearm that had his print on it, the victim's DNA on the bloody clothing found in his apartment.
So we ended up seeing this last Tuesday as both state and federal appeals courts denied Cantu's request to stay the execution, leaving Cantu's life in the hands of the only person who could give him a reprieve, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, and he did not do that. So yesterday at 6:47 p.m., with protesters outside, Ivan Cantu was finally put to death, with him reportedly strapped into a gurney and given a lethal injection, which also is a method of execution that is especially controversial because of the potential to cause agonizing pain. Which actually, on that note, coincidentally, at the same time that Cantu was put to death, another death row inmate was being strapped down in Idaho, where reportedly 3 different medical team members tried and failed 8 times to give him the lethal injection, either because they couldn't find a vein, or they could, but they had concerns about vein quality. So they ended up attempting sites in his arms, legs, hands, and feet, but all to no avail. So he is still alive, and also very lucky, because Idaho says that it's not going to try again before his death warrant expires, meaning he'll have to either obtain another warrant or he's just going to keep on living. But I'll close this by bringing this back to Ivan. What are your thoughts on this specific case, as well as what are your thoughts on the death penalty these days?
Then there was Balenciaga. After that brand's campaign sparked widespread public outrage in 2022, Kim publicly expressed disgust. Then, in early 2024, she renewed her partnership with them as a brand ambassador. People noticed this, and they were not quiet about it.
I posted something
in support of the Jewish community. Or like even with the Balenciaga thing, it was like, everyone was like, why aren't you speaking out? Why aren't you speaking out? And I'm like, wait, I'm not in this campaign. I don't know what's happening. Let me like take a minute to research this. And then as soon as I saw what everyone was seeing on the internet and the reality of the situation, I completely spoke out and gave my thoughts on child porn and completely denounced it. But because I didn't say, fuck you, Balenciaga, that's it, people got mad at that. So it's like, they're mad if I don't speak out. They're mad if I do speak out and if I don't cancel. They're just mad that if you don't cancel someone in today's society, then it's just can't, like, I know people talk about cancel culture and how crazy it is, but it's still happening. And so it's never been my place.
Yeah.
The whole point of life is to make mistakes, is to grow and to evolve and to be better people. Obviously, there is absolutely no place or an ounce to even play with anything with children. Like any sexualization of children, there's like not an ounce of that should be in our brains and in our society. I get that. I couldn't have been more clear on, this is horrifying, this is disturbing. I mean, but unless they heard what they wanted to hear is like, fuck you, you're canceled.
Don't you feel like, though, isn't there a part of you that feels like no matter what you say, or no matter what you said, that there will be people who have a problem with whatever version of response you have to a Balenciaga or to something, Kanye might say, or don't you feel like you can't win? Or
totally,
yeah.
You definitely can't win.
Yeah.
No matter what, you can't win. But I'll still be me.
Yeah.
I just think that this week was just really testing for me, just because I'm in so much other shit that's not my shit. And that is like, I just, when you just don't want to be a part of the narrative, but you're brought in. But then I have to take responsibility and say, okay, people look at me as the face of this, so let me speak out. I just always want to do the right thing. And you always have to just do what feels right.
She's been pursuing a law degree. She failed the California bar exam in the winter of 2025. Her response, publicly at least, was measured. She said falling short was fuel, not failure, but according to sources speaking to the Daily Mail, privately she was described as feeling defeated and exhausted after what she herself called the worst year of her life. That is a very different image from the polished, in-control persona that years of reality television carefully constructed.
The big news about you, Kim Kardashian West wants to become a lawyer.
Yes.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Well, a lot of it is thanks to you, because you introduced me to the attorneys, Jessica and Aaron, that I have been working with weekly, seeing 18 hours a week, studying with, pretty much crying with, It's a lot of hard work.
Why are you doing this? People are just so surprised to hear it. Talk about the reason.
Yeah, well, when I did go to the White House and when I learned so much about the system and what is going on deep into the system, I was honestly so surprised. I really had no idea how broken the system is, and I just figured, if I know more about the system, I can do more for the system, and that's just the type of person that I am. It really interests me. It's completely taken over my life.
Yeah. What does the family think about this? I mean, is Kanye mad? I mean, is this like taking you away?
He might be mad because on my weekends, I just need to study. During the week at nights, there's a lot of time where I'm just like, babe, you have to take the kids, and he's really stepped it up, and I'm so grateful for him for doing that, because we made this decision together as a family where I said, you know what, I have my full-time filming job, I have my beauty business, I work full-time, and I'm gonna take on another 18 hours a week that's required. And I think honestly, when I saw the response from people, some people just didn't really understand how it works.
Right.
And I think people assume that I'm just prepping for the bar and not actually studying or going to school.
Because so people understand, you're not going to a regular law school. You're actually apprenticing, basically going back to the old school way of doing it, apprenticing yourself, studying, working with the real lawyer on a regular basis to be ready to take the bar exam.
Yeah, so you have all the same textbooks that you would in law school, all of the same assignments, except for you have more tests. You have a test a month. And you don't have a teacher there explaining to you it. So I have to watch lectures online. You really have to kind of figure it out yourself with them guiding you and really step up and do the work.
What's your response to people who say, but you're just taking a shortcut?
Let us zoom out for a moment, because there is a bigger picture here that often gets missed when we focus on individual incidents. The Kardashian brand as a business ecosystem is genuinely enormous. Skims alone was valued at around $4 billion. There is Khloe's Good American, Kylie's cosmetics line, the collective social media reach that numbers in the hundreds of millions of followers worldwide. This is not just a family that became famous. It is a vertically integrated media and commerce operation.
Had a lot of business ventures before Skims. Still has a bunch of other business ventures, but the Kardashians and Jenners have tried all sorts of stuff. They've been trying to break into skincare for a long time and do all sorts of stuff. So this is definitely the family's biggest hit, and it's definitely Kim's. The vast majority of her net worth is definitely going to be in Skims. So like I said, she owns around a third of the company, and I mean, it's, the vast majority of her wealth.
I mean, let's talk about that a little more, because the family, Kim included, has had their hand in a host of different businesses. Aside from reality TV, she worked on a mobile game, fragrance line, beauty line, amongst other things, but Skims is the one that really seems to have taken off into a league of its own. So can you run us through the history of the company and any highlights that you found interesting?
She co-founded this company in 2018 with a couple entrepreneurs, Emma Greed and this guy Jens Greed, who is the CEO now. And they really found an interesting, niche, which is, shapewear, sort of with Kim's vibe, and Kim's aesthetic. And so, over the years, it's sort of been just this slow building, but sort of runaway success. It's definitely the most successful business of the Kardashian-Jenner family. And, as she's sort of had to figure out, she's had a couple of beauty businesses. She had KKW Beauty. She shut that down, turned that into Skin by Kim's. Shut that down. She sort of reformulated stuff a bunch of times and tried to figure out what's right. And all while doing that, Skims has kind of just continued to be, a success. And so they've been raising more and more money and at higher valuations.
And to your point you made earlier that this is Kim's vibe, I mean, it really seems like it is. It has a really cool vibe. There's smart partnerships, like with the Olympics. In their marketing campaigns, those are also very strategic. They pick celebrities or athletes or pop stars that really meet the moment at exactly that moment. It seems to have paid off for them, obviously, now that the company is valued at $5 billion. Has Kim said exactly what she envisions the future of the company to be, fresh off this really successful fundraising round?
Yeah, it's really interesting because they started out as a direct-to-consumer, online-only brand, and then they've sort of moved into brick and mortar retail, and building physical stores. And they've got 18 of them around the US, a couple more in Mexico. And not just, they built a big flagship in New York City, but, they're, I think, in Minnesota, and, all throughout the United States. And they're using this money that they raised to build even more brick and mortar stores. And so at a time where, all this talk for a long time now of, companies going online and getting rid of their stores, they have this vision for, doing a lot more brick and mortar. And so they said that within a few years, they're hoping that it's predominantly a physical retail brand, which is pretty interesting.
When something goes wrong anywhere near an operation that size, the ripple effects are disproportionate. A Polish truck driver making 4,000 euros for a single job has nothing to do with Kim Kardashian. But because of how global her supply chain now is, and how recognizable her brand is at international borders, her name ends up in the headline. The NCA's own statement pointed to something important. Criminal organizations routinely use legitimate commercial shipments as cover. The bigger and more respected the commercial operation, the more useful it is as a shield. It is not a scandal, but more of a structural vulnerability. vulnerability. What it does invite, though, is a broader question about whether brands of the scale have both the incentive and the responsibility to run tighter oversight on their logistics networks, not because they are suspected of anything, but precisely because the scale and the name recognition make them a target. That question does not have a clean answer, but it is worth asking.
A British court, guys, in London has officially sentenced a truck driver to prison because he was caught smuggling £7 million, which is $9.4 million worth of a substance, an illegal substance, which is basically coke, in a shipment of Skims. Now, it is interesting that Kim is not being dragged into this court case, because you would have thought so, but you're telling me that £7 million, $9.9 million worth of coke was all packaged neatly into Skim products, and then this particular person was caught. They always seem to be a close radar to everything. They're always at the wrong place at the wrong time, but it's not them at the wrong place at the wrong time. It's somebody that's basically in some kind of third degree connection. Now, if you're going to transport substances and get paid for it, the con of this is that if you get caught, only you're going to go down. Unless, you know, you sign some plea deal and etc., because they want to get the people on top, whatever, which I don't think is ever going to happen to the, you know, the Kardashian clan. But the con of doing all of that is that you're going to go down if you get caught, nobody else, because they don't give a damn about anybody else simply but you. This is how, I'm not saying that Skims is not successful. I think that her brands are definitely successful and they are making a lot of money, but this is how you can move a lot of money, by transporting a lot of substances. You know, drug trafficking is basically what they call it, and this has gotten Skims written all over it. Literally, you can see in the packaging here, it's also packaged so well. You're really going to tell me that the substances were just put into Skims without anybody knowledge higher up at Skims? This is so bad for the brand, and the article is now everywhere, and I definitely believe that Kim and the clan are 100% affiliated to the transportation of these substances. JP Morgan, for goodness sake, have gone through the ringer for what they've basically been accused of when it comes to transporting so many substances. People think that the transportation of these illegal substances only happens with minuscule companies, minuscule agencies, minuscule mafias, gangsters, people on the road. No, it happens high up in the corporate world. That's why you have a lot of corporate people who work there taking all of this stuff. It transports massively amongst huge companies, and I think that Skims is possibly one of them. You know, the entities and the companies that the Kardashians create, which is so many at this point, every single damn year there's something else opening up. You're really going to sit here and tell me that these companies are only going to be selling clothes? That is the only motive. Whatever they're selling is only what they're selling, and that's it. They're not actually sitting here transporting stuff behind the scenes through stuff to either wash money or create a lot more. You're telling me, hold on, this is a lot of coke that was basically being transported, guys. It wasn't just a random small amount that he was caught with. 90 kilograms. 90 kilograms, 198 pounds. I weigh 80 kilograms, okay? That's like 188 pounds is what I weigh. Like, you're really going to sit here and tell me that amount was sitting in the truck, and that was all lined up within the clothing of Skims? It was all within the clothing. It wasn't as if it was completely separate of the packaging. But the agency, you know, which the National Crime Agency were very quick to say that, you know, Skims was not involved or connected to this smuggled load. Okay. This was a mistake that went wrong, and that when you have these big companies basically doing this stuff, they probably have some type of leniency where they don't get caught, and here things just went wrong. This is like a blip in the system, and I think that this is affiliated to Kim's leverage in specific spaces that she is now in, that she couldn't get into anymore because Kanye is not her husband, and Kanye was getting into everything.
When a story involving Kim Kardashian breaks, the attention it attracts is instant and enormous. That creates an incentive for content creators, commentators, and even some outlets to stretch what is known, to imply what is not proven, and to package speculation as something much more concrete. We have already talked about Ray J's claims and how they lacked any supporting evidence, but he is not the only example. Cat Williams, in a video that has now crossed close to 300,000 views, framed this Skims story in a way that suggested a connection between the brand and a much larger criminal network, without establishing any factual basis for that framing. It gets clicks, shares, and gets people talking.
Got a lot. I just got to dance on stage with him. You got a lot from Prince.
You remember when Kim Kardashian got...
Yeah, but he made her get off.
Because he was pointing at me.
He was pointing at you?
He was pointing at me. That was supposed to be my big break. I was supposed to get up there and get all the girls of Los Angeles. And Kim Kardashian went up.
And she went up there and she got it.
When claims like these spread at scale, they become part of the public record even when they have no factual grounding. Ask anyone who has been wrongly identified in a viral post like Ivan Cantu from New York, whose face was shared by Kim herself without verification. The same logic applies here. Repeating unverified allegations loudly enough does not make them true. It just makes them louder, and the people watching these videos deserve to know the difference between documented fact and a compelling story that someone wants to be true. Jakub Konkel is serving 13 and a half years. The cocaine and truck was destroyed. The criminal network that used him is, presumably, still operating and according to the NCA still being investigated. That investigation has nothing to do with Skims or Kim Kardashian beyond the incidental use of a legitimate shipment. The defamation lawsuit against Ray J is ongoing as of early 2026. What that eventually produces, whether a settlement, a retraction, or something else entirely, remains to be seen. Kim Kardashian, by all publicly available accounts, is still studying for the California bar exam, still navigating a complicated co-parenting situation with Kanye West, still running a multi-billion-dollar business and appearing on television, attending major events and generating headlines every other week.
If the P. Diddy file and the Epstein files, the P. Diddy court trial and the Epstein files, which we all read and discussed over here, if you're still naive after that, then I don't know what to tell you. There's so much corruption happening, so many people are involved, and when the going gets tough, everybody wants to be quiet. You ain't gonna get no statement from Kim, you ain't gonna get no statement from Skims, because they're gonna be like, this ain't got to do with us. This ain't got nothing to do with us. You're telling me this man worked independently for a specific group of people and that he was getting paid money from them and therefore he decided to put it in the Skim? 13 years and a half he's gone to prison for. 13 years and a half. Probably will get out on 10 years with good behavior. That's why you're in prison. It ain't looking too good, guys. I do think that Kim's relation to freeing these, prisoners and posting bail for them and wanting to be a hero for them and writing statements for them, she's only allowed to do that. Okay, this pivot that she's made into freeing prisoners, whether they've been illegally put away or not, she's only recently been doing this for the past half a decade because she's been allowed to. People have been allowing her to play this political hero where she can use her money to free these people, because I just don't think, I think it's like a business deal. And at the end package also, there's great PR for her, because I don't think that, Kim can just walk into places and do all of this without it benefiting her, without secret deals basically being made. 8 million euros worth of cocaine.
Whether this particular chapter leaves any lasting mark on the Skims brand is genuinely unclear. Consumer memory is selective, and the brand has moved quickly to distance itself from any suggestion of involvement, given that law enforcement itself has confirmed they had no role. The legal and factual case is straightforward. The PR case is messier, as it always is, because in the current attention economy, being exonerated does not always carry the same weight as being accused. The accusation travels fast, clarification travels slower, and sometimes it never quite catches up. That is not unique to Kim Kardashian. It is just the world we are currently living in. Anyway, a man made a reckless decision for a few thousand euros and is now spending over a decade behind bars. A brand worth billions had its name attached to a criminal operation it had absolutely nothing to do with. A celebrity who was already navigating a rough stretch publicly now has another story circulating about her, built on a combination of documented fact, unverified claims, and a media ecosystem that does not always distinguish clearly between the two. None of those things are really about each other, but they collided in the same news cycle, and that collision tells us something interesting about how public perception actually forms in 2025 and 2026. We fill in gaps, connect things that are near each other, trust the framing of whoever tells the story first and loudest, and sometimes, by the time the full picture becomes clear, most people have already moved on. Kim Kardashian has survived every controversy this decade has thrown at her so far, whether that is because she is genuinely resilient, because her brand is strong enough to absorb almost anything, or simply because the news cycle moves faster than public memory is a question only time will answer. Maybe the more interesting question is this: at what point does the sheer volume of noise around a person make it genuinely impossible to know what is real? Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you liked this video, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on any new videos. And until then, fam, keep it real.